minute 19 seconds. That's a personal best. That is a very nice. I tell you what, if you don't have one of these huge Sawzall blades, you need to get one. They're amazing.
These are incredible.
Those are great blades. Thanks, Home Depot.
Is it gonna work?
Yeah.
Maybe weld it a little bit and put a self-tapper or two in it.
I probably will.
Welded your hammer to the...
I did. There we go. That's about all I was really looking to do. Weld my hammer to it. Thor would be so mad, would be so upset.
Oh my gosh. Yes, he would.
Hammer abuse. There we go. That's as tacked as I needed it to be.
Okay.
The rest is just fine. There we go. Nice. What? Come on now. Whatever. Fortunately, no one will ever see these.
That's right.
Except for the 2 people that subscribe and us. I feel like they can keep a secret.
I hope so.
And there you go.
All right.
Panel.
So we got the sides sealed up,
Enough.
welded, covered, painted. So now the air conditioning won't leak out of the car.
That's important. You want to keep the air in. We did a lot of work for that air conditioning. The least we can do is keep it in.
Exactly. And there we go.
All right. Hey guys, and welcome back to the garage. Got a bunch of different weird things going on today, just some odds and ends we're tying up. Got the new headlights in. They're not exactly factory. They're LED headlights from a Wrangler, I think, is what they were from. But they're 7-inch round, and they actually fit really well in the buckets with only minor modification. And they're full LED, just like all the taillights, and now it has front turn signals. There's the inside of a 48 Ford bucket, if anybody wanted to know what that looked like. Pretty neat, I think. I'm pretty sure I'll have to adjust these headlights, but I gotta get them in first, so there is that. I don't know. Here's the hood. Had first test fit of the hood the other day. I didn't film it because, well, it was just a rough test fit, and I knew it wasn't gonna work out very well. So no reason to take y'all along for that. We'll get into that when it actually comes time to start actually putting the hood on sooner or later. Notice the hinges are gone, can't run those. That part of the inner structure where the hinge actually bolts to, had to cut that out because it interfered with the air conditioner, the blower motor, and all under the firewall. This place is a wreck. Make sure you keep your workspace clean so that you can work efficiently, not like me. So here we go. She's got the fenders on. Look at that. The original grill that I picked up, put on it, looks amazing. New LED turn signals installed. And I have the bolts in the fenders, but they're not fully tightened down. Still trying to figure out exactly how to get them to fit properly. It's a little weird in the front. I know you notice it, I do too. But as a whole, in person, it doesn't look quite so weird. See, it's just a little high on the front, but there really isn't anything I can do about it. I mean, I guess there is, but there's nothing I'm going to do about it. So there's that. I think it's just a little high. I think if it... See, I notched the inner fender, or I notched the fenders here, 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 and all kinds of stuff back there. I even had to cut the top of the fender, which hurt my heart, to clear the air box. But, you know, it's what had to happen, because there's no moving this air conditioning unit, and there's no removing it. That's not happening. I can't afford the vintage air or any other kind of air conditioning boxes and stuff to replace that, so has to happen. And you know, it is what it is. I just can't figure out exactly what's going on with the front. I think it's too high, but maybe not, because everything's pretty level. But I don't really know. And I can't cut into this support any more than I already have, because then I start getting into the radiator. And you and I both know that just ain't happening. We'll have none of that. I am not messing with this thing's cooling system. It is flawless. I will deal with a car that is about a ½ an inch higher in the front than it should be before I do that. Otherwise, I mean, technically everything's fitting up really well. Like, if you see the gap here, it's not that bad. I mean, it's really pretty good. And down there is where it should be for the running board. And the wheels do not clear at present, which is a bit of a problem, but the fender's also kicked in. So this side I spaced it, just shoved a piece of metal in there to see, and it came out perfect, and the wheels will clear now. Like, there's enough room there for them to clear, and it actually brought the fender here down like it needed to be. This is black paint, but it's close enough for what I'm trying to do. It looks good. I'm super stoked about this. And next step really is I've got to make the pieces that go here to kick the fenders out and bolt them down. I'm gonna make some supports that come out from the frame here out to the fenders to hold, just to give this a little more stability, even though it's already pretty sturdy now that the bolts are in the back. But since this thing has the aerodynamics of a brick, I would like for there to be as much tying the front end to the frame as possible. So I'm going to make all those removable so that I can remove the front end relatively easily. I did go ahead and, instead of using the stock bolts like I had intended to go through here, running a nut and bolt through the hole and then pulling the fenders up to it. That worked a lot better. It was a lot easier to line everything up. A lot easier to just in general to deal with. So since this front end will at some point come off just for maintenance, or something will, at some point it'll need to be removed, I wanted to make sure it was as easy as possible. Everything else I can get to, except for the fuse panel. That's the one thing I can't get to, and probably the reason the front end will have to come off one day. But there's nothing I can do about it. I don't want to relocate the whole fuse panel. Everything else I can access: oil, transmission fluid, air conditioning, brakes. I can get to the coolant reservoir there and fill it up. I can take the two supports down here at the bottom loose. This front end will pull up about an inch or two, so I can get to the cap because it's just right there. And the battery is a brand new Optima, so if I have to touch that thing, I'm going to be really mad. So I'm not super worried about having to deal with that either anytime in the near future. Otherwise, where are we at? Alright, so I guess it's time to get to the business at hand, which is trying to fluff these fenders out, bring them out a little bit so that they don't touch. And then I guess we'll put the hood on and see how that fits. I know I'm going to have to clearance it here where the blower is for the air conditioner, because you can actually feel and see it. I think it is not flat. It is bowed up right here, and that is in spite of all my cutting and trimming. It was really bad before, but it's the best it could be to retain these pieces. I always said I would never compromise the air conditioning, and I never will. So it is too hot, and this car is too cool, and I want to drive it too much for all that. So that's how that's going to roll. What I'm going to have to do, and I hate it, and you may want to look away when I do this, I'm going to cut the hood. I'll make a template of this radius right here. Then I'll lay it on the hood, and I will cut the hood out to match this radius. But it's something I don't want to do, but I don't have any choice. I've come too far now to turn back. I'm not going to let something like cutting a little bit of the hood that you won't notice, honestly, because the hood will sit flush. And if you're just looking at the car casually, like a show or while it's going on the road, you're not going to notice. I mean, and if you do, well, good for you. Congratulations. You have the keenest eye on the planet. Anyway, let me start taking some measurements. Go ahead and see what I got on the other side, see if this one's relatively the same. And then I'll try to get the hood on, and I'm waiting to do these outriggers in the front until I get the hood on, just in case these fenders have sagged a little bit and need to be jacked up just a hair to close this gap in between the hood and the fender. And then once I get that placement proper, then I can actually lock it down with the supports in the front. And once I get that situated, I'll bring you back and I'll show you the fabrication and welding on all that, because that should be relatively interesting, or at least I think it would be. I'd like to watch that. Alright, thank you. Alright, well, I just got the spacers tacked in, and here's what they look like. Not pretty, but they'll do. They're made from the push bar brackets on a Cop Impala that we bought at auction, and I took the push bar, well, the push bar was gone, but these brackets were there, so I took them out, and they ended up being perfect. I got just enough room here for the tires to clear. Here's the other side. Looking pretty alright, if I say so myself. Pretty good clearance there, actually really helped out a lot. Looks a lot better. I'm pretty pleased. So One more thing crossed off the list. Awesome.